when I first entered PhD work, one of the things I do a lot now is I direct a lot of television. I'm the house director for Sons of Anarchy and Hawaii Five-0, and boy, is that dysfunctional. Real Hell's Angels as extras, man. It's like, so I don't like acting much now because directing is much more fulfilling to me. So I got this offer. You know, I get these offers all the time. I did do a long arc in Dexter. That's a lot of fun. But I know those writers. I could sit with them for hours. I could shape the part. I invented it myself. Some cocaine cowboy from West Texas. The whole thing was me. Same thing with 24. But to do a one-off segment in a TV series, I don't do that. It's not worth the money. It's not worth the time. It's usually not worth the effort. And it doesn't interest me as much as directing television does, which is thrilling. So about a year and a half ago, I was deep into preparing for my written exams at UCLA. I don't know if any of you got higher education, master's degree, whatever, man, but you're writing written exams, you know, you get your chops busted. And I get this offer, a one-off offer to do a segment of Fringe. And, you know, I don't do it. So it comes, and they say, you got this, you know, bullshit offer here to do Fringe, and I toss the script. Now, I'm going to jump back and tell you this. Because as Joseph Campbell said, when synchronicity happens, it's not an accident, it's the gods or God or whoever you believe in showing you the way or something, right? My wife and I got married in Italy in a Catholic church. To get married in Italy in a Catholic church, you not have to go through the civil bureaucracy, you have to go through the Catholic bureaucracy. It takes a year. You have to run everything through your archdiocese, through the Vatican, down the archdiocese in Naples, to your local church, where we live in the south of Italy. I made a deal with my wife, Sherry. I said, listen, I'm going to handle this bureaucracy. Every day, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m. and write these fakakta emails to all these people. But here's the deal. I don't want to hear one word about flowers, tablecloths, lemons, you know, wedding gifts, fruit for the wives, nothing. I'm going to do this. Everything's fine, the rest of it. Okay, 3 months before this wedding, she comes to me and she says, we got to go register. I said, what is that? She says, we got to go to a store. We got to put down our names. I said, why do I got to do it? That's not the deal. She says, listen, it's presents from the people who come. I said, we already have a foundation for the church in a little place in Italy. We're going to give the money there. She says, the older people, your parents, my parents, they don't want to do that. They want to give us gifts like wedding. I go, what will this entail? She says, 2 hours in Beverly Hills at a glass store. Yeah. Any guy here gone shopping with their wife? Is it ever 2 hours in a glass store? No! By the 4th hour, I want to break all the glasses, machine gun everybody into place, stab myself with a fork. My life is coming out of my ears. I'm wandering around like in oblivion. She goes, honey, I know you're losing your mind. We got to do one last thing. I said, what? One last thing. We get in this car going down a one-way street. I said, where are we going? Where are we going? She says, there. And like the friggin' Emerald City of Oz, at the end of this street, are all 5 floors of Neiman Marcus. And I go psychotic in the car. And I pound the dashboard and I go, this is not the effing deal. This was not the effing deal. I'm screaming this over and over until I finally look at her. She just looks at me like I'm catatonic, apoplectic, and she says, you have to get out of the car now. You have to just get out of the car. I get out of the car, I slam the door, I walk into my cigar club about 2 blocks away. I see these bankers sitting around. This one guy named Davey Justman says, Weller, you look white. I go, yeah, man, something happened to me, man. We were registering, and all 5 of these bankers go, not register! It's shopping! You didn't do that! I said, yeah, I did. Stupid! My wife goes home, calls her mother, says, you know, this is really weird. He flipped out. Mother's great, farmer from Georgia. 5 generations of farmers. She says to my wife, honey, what'd you do? I got this from her grandmother straight away. She said, take him to register. Honey, no, you don't do that. This is a great insight of a woman from a farm. Ready for this? She says, when you take a man shopping, it's not wired to him. And they become like 5-year-old boys in a supermarket. They want to throw the soup cans. Isn't that great? That's exactly right. Can we all applaud this? Yes. We don't go shopping. Okay, cut to, this is 4 years later, get the offer for Fringe. Into my office, trash can it goes. I go out, work out, do something or other, go to UCLA, come back. I come back in my office, I'm looking for my wife. She's sitting in my office. She's got the Fringe episode open, and she is bawling like crocodile tears, man. I said, hey, honey, I don't know what's up. She said, I just can't. I said, are you really reading a simplistic, vacuous piece of television crap and crying on a couch? She says, you're not going to believe this, you're not going to believe this. It's about a guy who wants to go back in time, and he's messing with God, and whether God is science, all that stuff that you like that I don't understand. And I said, yeah. And she says, no. And the reason why he wants to go back in time is because his wife died in a car accident. And I said, oh God, that's sad. She says, no. They had a fight in a car on their way to register. Is this unbelievable? And so I say, horse shit. That can't be true. He said, yeah, they're engaged, they're going to register, they have a fight, a car, he gets out and she gets clogged by a truck. You have to do this, you have to do this. Okay. I grab the script and I sit down and read it by myself. At the end of this, I'm just absolutely abject crying because the guy's he's trying to be convinced by the lead guy, the guy who plays the king in Lord of the Rings, not to mess around with God by going back in time, but because he thinks, and everybody thinks, that the guy's going back to save his wife. And what he's trying to go back to do is die with her. Anybody seen this episode?
No.
And he goes back, and he dies, and he dies with her. And the last words he turns to her and says, I love you. So by the end of reading this thing, I'm a mess, man. I'm a mess. This is just like, oh man, the fates have come back to haunt me here, man. I gotta go do this. And so I do it. And I had a ball doing it. I wrote my PhD stuff at night, and I did this during the day. And it was like this psychic homage to my wife. And the deal is that a year and a half ago, Kathy Lang, the head of JJ's company, called me up to direct one of JJ's series. And Kathy Lang's one of the people that when she was at Paramount for a while. She started my directing career. And I'm meeting with her, and it's up at Bad Robot. I don't know what JJ looks like. And I know that when I walk in, she says, God, we loved you in Fringe. And I went, yeah. She says, that's JJ's show. And I went, it is. It somehow escaped me that was a J.J. Abrams show. Subsequently, I leave, and I'm walking out in the parking lot. And I'm thinking, that was a pretty good meeting with Kathy Lang. I hadn't seen her in a while. And that's why I hear this, Peter. And I turn around, and there's this guy with the baseball cap and the glasses, man. And he's just standing in the parking lot. Says, I'm JJ. And I went, oh, wow. He says, I heard you in the building. I just want to come out and tell you how much I really love your work. And this Fringe thing blew my mind. And I stood there in this parking lot and told JJ the story I just told you. And, JJ's got a great ethic with his family. He cuts off all the phones, all the email, everything on the weekend. Everything. That's astounding, man, for the amount of schlock that he's got to tote around. He cuts it all off, and he's with his kids and his wife. That's it. And I think they got it from his dad. And so I tell him this story, and he gets kind of weepy, and he puts his arms around me and says, you should act more. I said, well, I'm here to meet for directing. I didn't want to say I didn't like acting. He said, no, man, you should act more, because the Fringe thing was really, really special to me. And that story you just told me was special. And I went, thanks, and then we kissed and hugged, and I went away, and 4 hours later, that's when the phone call came. JJ wants to hire you. I said, yeah, for what show? He says, no, to act. And I said, what? This is one of the stars of Star Trek. And that's when I told my agent, I'm in. No, you don't want to know the money? I don't care about the money. I didn't care about anything at that point. It's a cyclical sort of event. Look, these events come and go in a life, and you forget about them. You write them down. They come. They're synchronitic, and you think, "Wow, oh great, they're groovy." But I harken back to what Joseph Campbell said: when these things happen to you, this is God, universe, infinity, fates, whatever you hold is bigger than you, lifting you, and giving you opportunity for gratitude and enjoyment. And the only thing you do is enjoy the passage of time. So I'm really happy to share that with you, man.